must be wondering. As you know, the economy is in another dimension altogether. In terms of the circulation of money is now slow. Businesses are collapsing. Some industry are basically struggling so roughly right now. For example, the tourism industry, which is a major part, is a major economic boost for our economy, for our people. A lot of entrepreneurs are basically in the tourism space, but they cannot find clients. So if we have someone whose business has been hit hard by the economy, and they're wondering right now, how, what can you say to them as far as making money is concerned? Say for example, if someone was in an industry that is badly hit, badly battered right now. I mean, they have gone bankrupt. What would you recommend these entrepreneurs to do? Where do they begin so that they can pick the thread back up again and continue to run their entrepreneurial race?
Okay, well, tough times never last, but tough people do. And
wow.
All through the ages, we need to understand that crisis equals to opportunity. Most of the time when people face crisis, either personal crisis, family crisis, business crisis, the first thing they tend to do is to be overwhelmed by the crisis, that they do not allow themselves to see the opportunities in the crisis. So you need to face reality. We are in a new world. I've been privileged to have been invited to different radio stations, TV stations, different platforms in the last 6 weeks to talk about different things with reference to this COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the things I keep telling people is we cannot be talking about a post-COVID world without talking about a pre-COVID world and the in-COVID world. You see, whatever you are facing right now is a result of what you have either done right or done wrong before COVID. So COVID only came to reveal the strengths or the weakness of your strategy. If you have done things the way it's supposed to be done before COVID, now that you are in the midst of COVID, even though it's a major pandemic that is affecting everybody, if you have done things right and done things accurately, now that you are in COVID, you will be able to still have a way to survive, and then you now move into post-COVID. So let me deal specifically with your question now. So someone has been in business, you are in an industry, and the industry you are in is now being affected. Airlines are going to go, many airlines are going to go bankrupt, hotels, tourism. Yeah, so we know. So that's the reality. So you don't argue with reality. Faith does not deny facts. But faith says that regardless of the fact, there is a greater reality. So we face reality. Things are tough. So what can you do? Number one, if you have been doing the right thing before now, one thing you will have is you will have had a database of customers that have been yours before now. So while you are complaining that things are tough, imagine that you are an hotel owner or you run a tourism company, and in the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, you have serviced 10,000 people, 20,000 people. If you have done the right thing, that means you will have the database of 10,000 people. So if you don't have the database of all the customers you have served, that means you have made a mistake before now. So COVID is not your problem. It is the mistake you made that is making you have a problem. Because if you have database, data is king. Data is powerful. So let's now take, so if you are a tourism company, you have the database of 10,000 people that have been your customer. What in consulting, when I consult for companies and I consult for nations, I give them what I call the master key for business sustainability. What is the master key for business sustainability? It's a simple phrase that can turn you into a millionaire before the end of this year. Bringing new products to existing customers and bringing new customers into existing products. It's as simple as that. bringing new products to existing customers, and then bringing new customers into existing products. So what does that mean? So your business is down, but you already have existing customers. You have people that you have been serving for 5-10 years. So what do you need to do now? Bring out a new product to service them. Find out their needs. Find out their problems. And say, you know what, guys? Send them an email. Guys, you know what's happening? COVID is in town now. We are not able to be able to reach out to you the way we are doing, but we have discovered that right now a lot of people need a lot of mental education to be able to deal with their mental health. A lot of people need financial education. We have discovered that people need to be able to know how to cope with this season. So we are starting a 10 weeks webinar. We are starting a 1 week webinar. We are starting a 1 month webinar, absolutely free, to be able to continue to reach out to you as our customer to help you. So you begin to talk to them about that. While you are doing that, you are showing them that you care, and then you are now thinking of products, new product that you introduce to them. You can now come up with a virtual tour, and they can begin to pay for virtual tour. You can come up with classes and modules of teaching and training that you can do on Zoom, that you can give to the existing customer. You can think of products that you can begin to sell to them. You can become a marketer for face mask, a marketer for sanitizer, and begin to collect the sanitizers and face mask from the producer, and you distribute it as a middleman to your existing customer, because they already know you. And then those your existing customers, you can now begin to connect them to new products. So you need to be creative, because now you have to reinvent yourself. There is a gap that needs to be bridged. Number one is the knowledge gap. You have to bridge the knowledge gap between what you know and what you need to know. Number two is the skills gap. You have to bridge the skills gap between your skills now and the required skill for the fourth industrial revolution, which is the post-COVID world. Number three, there is the technological gap. What is the gap between you and your customers? Because if your business has been if your business has been digitalized, if your business has been involved in ICT, you will still be able to do a lot of things virtually without physical involvement with people. Even though it may be reduced, but you will not be completely knocked off. So it's all about rethinking innovatively, thinking creatively, reinventing yourself. Because the fact that you have done something for 10 years does not mean that's what you will do forever. Because you have to realize that you cannot operate an analog business in a digital world. The days of analog business are gone forever. And if anybody is thinking that things will go back to normal, no. Things will never go back to normal the way we used to know it. Things will only go back to a new normal. And everybody needs to get ready for that new normal, including business people. So you have to begin to think creatively. Think without a box. There's nothing like thinking outside the box. There is no box at all. Think without a box. And think wild. And we also need to understand in Africa, because a lot of people in Africa, because of the limitation of infrastructure, we only think of our immediate environment. The world is a global village. The internet is the village square. We now live in a global world. We live in a borderless world. So the fact that you are in Kenya, Mombasa, or you are in Tanzania, or you are in Uganda, does not mean your customer must only be in Uganda, or only be in Tanzania, or only be in Kenya. You can stay local and play global. You can start small and think big. So everybody now need to begin to think globally. The product and service you are offering in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Mozambique, that product, people need it all over the world. Take it online, go into e-commerce. And don't only wait for your 24 hours time cycle. Because many people in different parts of the world, they only work for 8 hours. No, there is now a 24-hour economy. When they are sleeping in Tanzania, they are awake in another country. So you now need to begin to think of how to reinvent yourself.